Have you ever noticed that sometimes what attracts a younger woman has nothing to do with your looks or how old you are? It's like there's an invisible code, a set of attitudes that activates something within her. And no, it's not about looking younger, it's about knowing who you are. If you're tired of feeling outdated or thinking time has worked against you, take a deep breath. Because today, you're going to discover that your age isn't a weakness, it's your greatest advantage. There's a silent strength in men who've lived enough not to need to prove anything to anyone. When you master that energy, you don't chase, you're the destination. Younger women feel this. They observe how you move, how you talk, how you react, and they know when they're in front of a man who doesn't need youth to be desired. The problem is that most older men sabotage themselves, wanting to compete with the younger guys, and that's when everything falls apart. But if you know where to step, how to act, and especially how to position yourself, she'll see you as a new world. And that's what we'll talk about here. No cliches, magic formulas, or childish games. What you'll learn today is psychological, strategic, and will completely change how you see yourself and how you're perceived.
Before we continue, I need to tell you something. This video only reached you because someone liked it and subscribed to our channel. Now it's your turn to do the same. Leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so this chain of knowledge keeps growing and reaching more people. Also, comment down below which city you're watching from, because I want to know how far this video is traveling. Now, no more delays, let's get to the good stuff.
First tip, have a leader's demeanor. Younger women are attracted to men who know what they want. Have you ever seen a woman's gaze when someone with presence enters a room? It's not about talking louder, showing off, or trying to be someone you're not. It's about demeanor. About that kind of man who, even in silence, makes it clear he knows what he's doing there. Younger women, especially the more selective ones, don't look for men who follow the crowd, they pay attention to who the crowd follows. The leadership they desire isn't authoritarian, it's solid. It's the security of being next to someone who can decide without wavering. A man with a leader's demeanor doesn't get anxious when she takes time to reply. He doesn't change his opinion to please. And, above all, he doesn't live for female validation. The leader inspires because he has direction. He transmits confidence, even when things aren't perfect. This emotional maturity is what sets you apart from the younger guys. Because while many strive to appear interesting, the leading man simply is, without needing to justify himself. If you go into a date already insecure, afraid of saying the wrong word, trying to guess what she wants to hear, you're putting yourself down. And younger women aren't attracted to men who ask permission to be men. Leadership isn't about dominating, it's about being a reference. It's looking her in the eyes with firmness, listening attentively, speaking clearly, and, most importantly, acting with congruence. What you say must match what you do. When that happens, the game changes, because now she's not just listening to you, she's admiring you.
If you're tired of watching her play games, ignore you, and do whatever she wants with your feelings, it's time to show who's in charge of the game. It's time to make her chase you and recognize your true value. In the first pinned comment, I've left a step-by-step guide on how to make her pursue you. Plus, you'll level up and become the best version of yourself. Click now.
Second tip, never beg for attention. Your time is valuable, and that attracts her. Every time you put yourself in the position of begging for crumbs of attention, you're silently saying, "I'm not enough." And the worst part, she feels it. Begging for attention is like trying to rekindle a flame by blowing more wind on it. You just extinguish it faster. When a man starts insisting on messages, forcing conversations, or demanding replies, he not only loses his demeanor, he loses respect. And no young woman wants a man who seems emotionally adrift, begging for crumbs of validation. Now imagine the opposite. A man who knows the value of his own time, who communicates naturally but never despairs if she takes a while to respond. This kind of presence communicates something powerful. I have a life. I'm moving forward, and if you want to be a part of it, great, but I'm not stopping for anyone. This isn't arrogance, it's self-worth. And younger women, no matter how immature some may seem, know how to recognize when they're in front of a man who doesn't need youth to be desired. Remember, attention that is earned is far more valuable than attention that is forced. When you disappear for a while, not because you're playing games, but because you have an interesting life happening, she feels that. And then comes curiosity, attraction, the desire to connect. Your absence becomes worth more than the presence of many. And at that moment, you're no longer just another guy. You've become a real possibility. Third tip, show her you can teach her new things. Being a mentor is aphrodisiac. There's something instinctive in a younger woman that leads her to admire a man who knows more than she does about the world. And we're not talking about intellectual arrogance or ready-made speeches. It's about that kind of man who effortlessly transforms any conversation into an opportunity for expansion. A man who introduces a new book, who has a vision for life, who sparks her curiosity. When she feels she can learn something by your side, you stop being just a potential partner and become a reference. You don't need to be a teacher, but you need to live like someone who knows what they're doing. Younger women aren't looking for manuals, they're looking for experiences. They want to be pulled out of boredom. They want to feel challenged, instigated, provoked, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually. And that's where you win the game. Because men who teach, guide, or show new paths become more than attractive. They become unforgettable. But pay attention. Teaching isn't dictating rules. It's sharing with elegance. It's listening before speaking. It's showing a new perspective without diminishing hers. When you do this with lightness, intelligence, and humor, you activate in her the desire to delve deeper, to get closer. The man who sparks admiration becomes an addiction. And when she feels she's growing just by being near you, leaving your life ceases to be an option. Fourth tip, avoid childish jealousy. The mature man doesn't compete with younger guys. One of the biggest mistakes a man can make when getting involved with a younger woman is trying to compete with guys her age. This not only puts you in a game you've already lost, but it also diminishes you in her eyes. When a man reacts with excessive jealousy, distrust, or insecure provocations, he's communicating that he doesn't see himself as sufficient. And younger women, no matter how immature some may seem, pick up on that instantly. The true mature man knows that those who are self-assured don't compete because they know what they have to offer. He doesn't monitor stories, doesn't interrogate, doesn't make a scene. He observes. He understands that trust isn't blind freedom, but it's also not living in a state of alert. Emotional balance is what separates a man who attracts from a man who repels. And childish jealousy is the quickest shortcut to losing the respect and admiration of a woman who could be fascinated by you. She needs to feel that she's next to someone who isn't rattled by every threat, who doesn't stoop to an emotional low because another guy liked her photo. When you react like an adult, she sees you as a safe harbor. When you act like an insecure teenager, she sees you as an emotional burden. Maturity is aphrodisiac. Emotional control is virility. And if you want to be remembered as a man, stop acting like a boy. Fifth tip, have a strong life mission. Purpose attracts more than appearance. Men who live emotionally adrift, who wake up without a why, end up being forgotten, even if they're good looking. This is because what drives the deepest feminine desire isn't just the body, it's direction. A man with purpose emanates something different. He has a sparkle in his eyes, firmness in his words, an urgency to live. And no woman can ignore the presence of someone who is building something greater than himself. It doesn't matter if your project is professional, spiritual, artistic, or personal. What matters is that it moves you. Younger women are surrounded by guys who only think about impressing with parties and selfies. When you emerge as someone who thinks beyond, who has a clear vision of what he wants, you break the mold. And those who break the mold leave their mark. You're not just attractive, you're inspiring. And this creates something rare: desire with respect. Having a mission also means knowing how to say no. It means having boundaries. It means making it clear that, as incredible as she is, you won't abandon your plans for a kiss or a weekend. This, far from pushing her away, generates magnetism. Because men who prioritize themselves with balance awaken in her the desire to be part of their journey. And when that happens, you're no longer the one chasing. 6th tip: show that you can handle her time. No rush, but with firmness. Younger women test you, sometimes without realizing it. Some will take a long time to reply. Others will act ambiguously, playing with attention and time. How you handle this says much more about you than any clever phrase. Mature men don't despair over pauses. They know that time responds more than any argument, and knowing how to wait with poise, but without losing direction, is one of the strongest weapons you can have. Don't confuse patience with passivity. Having firmness with time means knowing how to wait with class, but also knowing when to withdraw if you realize the game is turned into manipulation. You're not a stopwatch for her emotions. You're your own clock. If she wants to match your pace, great. If not, let her be. Because you're moving forward. The right woman will recognize your rhythm and will want to synchronize with it, without you having to beg. Time, when used with emotional intelligence, becomes a weapon of attraction. When she realizes you're not rushing nor standing still, but rather at your own pace, she adjusts.
Because your balance begins to affect her emotional state. And that's when the game changes. She starts to pursue you, not because you deliberately disappeared, but because you know where you're going, even when she still doesn't know what she wants. 7th tip: know how to pause contact, create longing. There's a classic mistake that destroys connections: excessive availability. Being there all the time, accessible, replying in seconds, present in every message, it weakens mystery, desire, and the perception of value. Younger women quickly get used to the always present type, and what's predictable loses impact. A man who knows how to take pauses isn't playing games. He's respecting his own cycles. He understands that absence, intelligently dosed, generates memory, and memory is the raw material of desire. Creating longing isn't about pulling away out of ego or stubbornness. It's about being absent with purpose. It's disappearing because you're focused on something bigger, because you're breathing, renewing yourself. And when you return, you come back with energy, with something to tell, with life. This stirs her emotions because now every reunion is a small experience. And younger women, even if they don't confess it, feel the need for men who create pauses and climaxes like a good book she doesn't want to put down. Do you want to be an addiction or a routine? An addiction knows how to dose. It knows when to appear, when to disappear, and how to provoke more than satisfy. When you disappear completely, you lose space. But when you're always showing up, you lose value. The art is in balance. Strategic pauses create space for her to desire you, and desire is always stronger when it's born out of absence. 8th tip: be generous without appearing needy. There's a fine line between genuine generosity and a disguised need for approval, and younger women are incredibly sensitive to this difference. When you offer something, be it time, attention, or gifts, expecting something in return, your intention betrays neediness, and neediness is a silent repellent. True generosity comes from self-sufficiency. It's when you share because you're overflowing, not because you need to be accepted. Women admire men who offer without making a fuss, who compliment without flattering, who help without diminishing themselves. And when you act this way, with balance, she feels that she's in front of a man who doesn't depend on her response to feel complete. This creates a powerful effect. She starts to desire to be close to you, not out of obligation, but by choice, because your presence is light, because your energy doesn't demand, it simply invites. Generosity isn't about giving everything. It's about knowing what to give, when to give, and how much to give. And when you get that balance right, she sees you as someone rare, someone who shares because they have a full life, not because they're trying to fill a void. And it's in the space between excess and scarcity that genuine interest is born. An interest that doesn't wear out because it doesn't come from pressure, it comes from admiration. 9th tip, be protective without appearing controlling. Every woman on some level wants to feel safe with a man, but this has nothing to do with invading her freedom, monitoring her steps, or stifling her with rules. Being protective is knowing how to observe without dominating. It's knowing how to offer support without asking for anything in return. The true mature man conveys protection with a simple look, with calmness in his words, with the ability to act firmly when the situation demands it. Controlling men confuse protection with possession. They think that to care, they need to command. But what ends up happening is the opposite. She pulls away because she feels small, limited, caged. Younger women look for men who respect their individuality, but who are also a firm presence when needed. This is rare. This is magnetic. This is masculine in essence. You can protect a woman with a gesture, with advice, with the right attitude at the right moment, without imposing yourself, without shouting, without restricting. And when she realizes she's next to someone who knows the line between presence and intrusion, she relaxes. And when a woman relaxes, she surrenders. Not because she was pressured, but because she finally felt safe enough to trust. 10th tip, don't criticize her generation. Show understanding and social intelligence. Do you want her to admire you? Then stop talking like you're some wise old man judging her world. Younger women don't connect with people who criticize everything they like, do, or believe. That doesn't generate respect, it generates distance. When you belittle her universe, you portray yourself as someone who doesn't understand, doesn't listen, doesn't adapt. And no one is attracted to someone who lives to judge. The key is social intelligence.
Instead of pointing out what you consider frivolous or wrong, try to understand what's behind it. Ask with curiosity, not with sarcasm. Listen with interest, not with a rush to correct. You don't have to agree with everything, but you need to show that you can converse with respect. Because when she realizes you understand her world, even coming from a different time, you become someone rare. Younger women are charmed by men who can move between generations without losing their essence. Men who maintain their worldview but know how to listen and learn. When you show that you understand today, even if you're from a different era, she sees you as evolution, not resistance. And that's what connects. That's what brings you closer. That's what truly seduces. 11th tip, never compare yourself to younger men. You're on another level. Every time you compare yourself to a younger man, trying to prove you're better, you automatically lower yourself to the level of competition, and that destroys your advantage. Younger women aren't attracted to men who try to win invisible contests. They connect with those who don't need to compete because they know they are unique. Comparison signals insecurity, and insecurity shouts louder than any compliment. You have experience, maturity, a long-term vision, things a guy in his early 20s is still trying to figure out. So why put yourself on the same battlefield? When you act naturally, being who you are, she feels the difference. She realizes she's not there to be younger than others. You're there to be you. And that carries a weight that no toned body or fast talk can imitate. Younger men have energy, but more mature men have direction. And direction attracts more than speed. You don't need to be more handsome, funnier, or cooler. You just need to be whole. When you occupy that space, she realizes she's in front of someone who doesn't try to fit in, someone who has created his own standard, and that is irresistible. 12th tip, be well resolved with your past. Exes are not the agenda. Nothing devalues a man more than him bringing ghosts into a new relationship. Constantly mentioning an ex, recounting past dramas, or trying to show how much you suffered might seem like a way to be sincere, but in practice, it only shows that you're still stuck. And no woman wants to live a story with someone who still lives in another. The past is only valuable when it serves as a lesson, not when it becomes an excuse. Being well-resolved means not needing to explain too much. It means not being afraid to start something new. It means not using what you've lived as a shield or a weapon. Younger women observe much more than you imagine. They notice when your gaze is in the present or when it's still stuck in a poorly healed memory. And when you show emotional lightness, when you act with maturity, she relaxes because she knows she's with someone who doesn't carry ghosts. Leave the ex where she stayed, in the past. Don't compare, don't mention, don't bring what's over to ruin what could be. Your new story starts now. And if you still have open wounds, heal them. It's not fair to drag someone else into your mess. Be clean, be whole, be new, even with all the baggage life has given you. 13th tip, act like she's lucky to be with you, without arrogance, with naturalness. Here's one of the most powerful secrets few men understand. Your worth is what you believe it to be. If you go into a date thinking she's doing you a favor by being there, you've already lost. How you see yourself defines how she will see you. And when you act like someone who knows what he offers without needing to show off, you transmit something rare, silent authority. It's not about being arrogant. Arrogance is noisy. Worth is discreet. It's that feeling that you're there because you chose to be, not because you desperately need her approval. And this posture affects a younger woman's emotions because she's used to guys who chase, who lose themselves, who do everything to please. When you are the opposite of that, you stand out effortlessly. She needs to feel that being with you is an experience, not an easy conquest. And this only happens when you truly believe that she has as much to gain as you do from this connection, that your presence is a gift, that your energy is rare. When you live this naturally, she notices. And at that moment, the game changes, because now she's the one who will strive to keep you close. If this video made a difference for you, please like and subscribe to the channel. Every video we create here is thoughtfully designed, always with the goal of helping you develop and achieve your best self. We want to share practical, direct tips that truly make a positive impact on your life. So don't waste time, and comment below with the word gratitude and the phrase, "in pursuit of my best self."
By doing so, the algorithm will share this video with even more men who are seeking growth. Your engagement in the comments is essential for our content to reach those who need these tips most. Furthermore, your support with a like and subscription strengthens our work and motivates us to continue creating valuable content for your journey. The more you interact, the more men will also have access to this type of information, which only helps our mission to transform lives. So, thank you for being with us on this journey. Stay tuned for the next videos because we're always bringing new insights to help you evolve. Big abross, and see you in the next video.